I taught my clients this method and helped them win over $10 million in supplier credit. And in today's video, we're going to show you one of the lessons from inside of our program, how I helped myself win over $100,000 in supplier credit in less than 30 days.
This is my suppliers and some of the credit limits that I've established. And I did this in a very, very short period of time. We're talking about in less than 3 months, I was able to get pretty much everything except for the million and 5 million. But it wasn't long after that I actually got the $1 million. And then within probably about a year, I got the 5 million. So this is one of a standard credit application. This is one of the ones I pulled up from HR2. And we're going to discuss how to fill it out. Most of them are pretty much the same thing. They're standard. So they're going to ask you for your company name, your tax ID number, your address, phone number, email address, number of years in business, and then they'll ask you for your bank information and then some of your trade references. If you are in business, a trade reference is anyone that you do business with. So what we did was, I'm in construction, as you know, and when I was first getting started, I didn't have any trade references because I hadn't really done any business. However, I had a friend of mine who was an air conditioning contractor. I had another friend of mine who was an electrical contractor. I had another friend of mine who was a painting contractor. And what we did was we used each other as trade references to get started. So I'll give you an example here. Let's see, a mobile mini credit application here that I'm looking at. And on this mobile mini credit application, it's just really one page. And they only ask for one business reference. So what I did was, again, I put down all my information, my contact information, and then I put down my friend's company name on here with his address, phone number, fax. And then what will happen is Mobile Mini will send that person, and normally these companies are really lazy, so they don't even spend a lot of effort in this. They'll send them a fax and ask your friend's company to complete a form saying how much credit was extended to you. So my friend asked me, okay, well, Eric, what do you need? So he went ahead, they faxed him the form, and he filled it out and said that we had established $20,000 worth of credit together. And again, like I said, they only asked for one reference. So one reference went through, they call, they verify, the person says yes. And once they do that, then you get credit with Mobile Mini. So let's go over and move on to, let's say, here we go. H&E Equipment Services. Now remember, let's go back over and look at where I'm at. So you see there, H&E, $12,000, okay? We go ahead and we take the same, we take the H&E credit application, same process, put down your company name, company information, you fill it out, and on here, they ask for 3 trade references. So I went there and put 3 of my friends who had companies and businesses. I put down all their information. I gave them, I told them what we want, how much credit we wanted. So for here, we put around $10,000, and then some people put 15 and 20. And then when they faxed over the forms, they completed the forms, turned them right back in to the particular equipment supplier, and same thing, we went ahead and approved me for credit. Okay, so now I have Mobile Mini and H&E actually approving me for credits. So that's 2 credit applications. Then what you can do, same thing. So you repeat this process for a couple companies, and you'll see here, this is Fastenal. I've got Extended Stay Hotels, and it's the same process. Now, once you get a couple of people who've actually approved you, then what you do is you take, and now you have actual credit from a trade supplier. So then when you go to fill out, for example, when I applied for credit from one of my manufacturers, from one of my major suppliers, I was able to leverage the already pre-approved credit applications from some of the smaller vendors that I used to actually have real trade references for the larger companies. You'll see here, here's an application for credit. So now what I can do is on my next application, I take and I'll use Extended Stay Hotels, I'll use H&E, and then I'll throw in one of a trade reference with one of the other companies. Maybe my friend who does the electrical business or my friend who does the AC business. I'll throw them in as a trade reference as well. So that takes me to getting an actual trade reference with one of the major suppliers that I do business with. So that's one of the companies that I want to do. For example, I wanted a much larger, significant trade reference. So then you turn them out, and I leveraged that, and we kept moving on and on and on until I got to, the approved company that I want to do business with. Now, so you say, okay, Eric, well, that sounds fine and dandy. Now you obviously we want to go from, 10,000, 20,000. How do you get to $1 million? Well, once I was able to get trade references from actual vendors such as H&E, Fastenal, HR2, and these are the companies, you're going to have your own respective companies. Once I got those trade references from those entities, then what I did was I took, and when I actually had a contract, so when there was a bid that came out to actually participate where I was going to really need, for example, the $1 million credit line. They didn't just give me the $1 million in the beginning, but what they did was they approved me for trade credit based on the previous applications. Now, once I was approved for the trade credit, then when I had a contract, or I had an actual, before I even had the contract, when I had a bid to put together that required the $1 million trade credit, I was able to leverage the approved, because I was already approved for credit with them. I was able to approve the credit. I was able to leverage the approved credit application, and coupled with the actual contract in hand to get the $1 million credit line. And so that's how I was able to leverage all of these other vendors to get the $1 million credit. And let me show you this. After we completed that job, let me see if I can show you. Check this out. If you can see it, they actually took my company. We got the $1 million. We closed that. I actually paid back a $766,000 loan in about 30 days. And then what they did was they approved me for bonding from $5 to $20 million, depending upon the underwriting and terms. So I was then able to leverage that to do much larger projects. All right. So now, why do you need trade credit? Well, again, like I said, we discussed a lot of times people are saying the government is slow to pay, the government doesn't pay, and that's not the case. What happens is, unlike the private sector, the government will pay you, but you have to deliver first. So in order for people to go out there and you want to work, even as a subcontractor, you've got to actually deliver materials to the job site. You have to perform, and then you can turn around and bill the government. So supplier credit, you have to have it if you want to do government contracts. I know a lot of people, they're more interested in how do you win a contract? How do I get a contract? But getting the contract is not as difficult as it is getting the supplier credit and getting all these other things established. So make sure before you actually jump into wanting to learn about getting contracts, set your business up first. And once you set your business up, start establishing some trade references and supplier credit so that you can, in turn, be in a position to deliver upon the promises that you're going to do to the government. So when you respond to that RFP or that RFQ, you can provide them with, you can deliver the services that you're providing. Okay. So, I don't see any questions on here. I know, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this point. Anything? No. All right. Well, I thank you for watching that video. What we're going to do, I'm going to actually take and make another video, unedited, where I walk you through and I'll show you how to fill out the forms. Pretty standard. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to send me an email, eric@scorecontracts.com. Thanks for watching.